If you took a piece of rope and got two people and began to shake the rope from both sides, from both ends, each of these two people, you create waves along the rope that meet in the middle and pass through each other. When two waves come in to the same region from different sources, they set up the circumstance we call interference. And if we shake on that rope and coordinate our efforts a little bit, you can set up a pattern that's called a standing wave pattern. When the waves come through each other, if they do it just right, there will be places on the rope that are at rest, and there will be other places of the rope that are vibrating quite rapidly. This is an interference pattern, and those places where the rope is at rest, those places are called nodes. And halfway in between the nodes, where the rope is vibrating quite rapidly, that's called an antinode. Now, you don't have to have two people on each end of the rope in order to make this work. You could tie one end of the rope to a fastener perhaps on the wall, and then have just one individual shake the rope. The waves would then come down and then reflect off of that fixed end and come back, and you'd set up the same circumstance. You'd have waves passing through each other, the situation that we need for interference. And if you did it just right again, you could set it up so that you'd have nodes and antinodes. Now, the pattern, the position of the nodes and the antinodes will not move. The nodes will not move along the rope. They'll be in one place. And so the pattern appears to be standing in place, not moving. The pattern is then called a standing wave. You can do it in another way. You could fix both ends. You could fix both ends and then pluck or strum the rope in between. This time again, you think of the waves moving down through each other, creating interference, and then moving back and forth as they reflect off the ends. The only thing that you've introduced now is that the ends have to be nodes because they're fastened. They have to be nodes. If you fasten just one end, then that has to be a node. But the pattern then will set up with that node there and other nodes in between. I have a little device here that can be used to demonstrate these standing waves. This rope is going to vibrate. This end is going to be clamped, so that's going to be a node. And this end we have a Black & Decker, bought it at Eagle Hardware, variable speed jigsaw, which is going to create the waves. And it'll jiggle a little bit up and down here. It's almost a node because it's almost at rest, at least compared to how much the rope itself is going to vibrate. The motion here is very small, so it's almost a node. Now, when you fix both of the ends, that way, both as nodes, then you can't use waves of any wavelength in order to form this pattern. The waves have to fit between the nodes at each end. If you get a rather long wavelength, you can get one that looks like this with a node at each end and an antinode in the middle. That's called the harmonic, or the fundamental. If you get a wavelength that's at half as long as that, you can get it such that there will be a node in the middle and then a node at the end with the antinodes halfway in between here. The jigsaw can be dialed to different frequencies. As you increase the frequency, then you decrease the wavelength of the wave. So we can dial up wavelengths of various lengths, but we'll only get standing wave patterns when the wavelengths just fit in between the two nodes at the end. So let's start out with a very low frequency, and then we'll have the longest wavelength. We'll look for the fundamental. And then as we increase the frequency, we should pass over into the first harmonic and the second harmonic. So, not much happening there. So we'll dial up the frequency a little bit longer wave, or a little bit shorter wavelength. And that's about the fundamental. Now let's just go past it. You see, we lose the standing pattern now. If I shorten the wavelength till it fits again, I can get this standing wave pattern, the node in the middle, antinodes, nodes at the end. Now I keep going. Keep going. Oh, got another one. And we're going to go all the way. All right. And then we back off. The patterns are discrete. You can get one with no node in the middle, and then one, and then two nodes, and then three. But the standing wave patterns are discrete. Only certain possibilities are allowed, the ones that have wavelengths that just fit in the right way between the two nodes.